Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the fourth game in Andy's Sealed event up at Fantasy Flight that took place on 3/29. He is coming off of an extremely close loss. That was just about as good a game of Keyforge as I think you're going to get. Everybody had answers for everything, and it just came down to who was able to pull, a rabbit out of their butt faster. Unfortunately, Andy's opponent, Grant, was able to make the magic happen. Andy was not, so now he is 2-1 going into this, the fourth round, where his opponent is Katie, who is a regular up there and is really active in the community. She helps to run the Wednesday events, so if you are up there, pop in, say hi, and yeah. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right in. Looks like Kat may be going first. I can't tell. Sam, what do you think?
I could not see the roll. I'm having a hard time counting the cards in their hand. Looks like Kat's taking the extra one, so she's going first, starting off with a quick so. And Andy opting to mull. See that he'll draw up to 5 here, going into his second turn.
Yeah. Fun fact, the art for Quixo is modeled after the one and only Brad Anders, designer of Keyforge. Secondary designer, I guess. Maybe? I don't know. What would you call him? He works with Richard Garfield, and it's always entertaining to talk to Brad and see what Mr. Garfield has to say.
Yeah, and I don't know his official job title, but you can definitely see the resemblance in Quixo. Tough to see it from this height. The trademark goatee on that card.
Yeah.
Cat taking a look at Mac the Knife, that rare Shadows card. And he's gotten this out in most games, but has not gotten a ton of value off of it.
Interesting choice to burn that Relentless Whispers to tag
Yeah,
Quixo right off the bat.
yeah, setting himself an opportunity to use Mac on his subsequent turn to kill off Quixo and gain 1 Amber, knowing that he's not going to have to go into House Shadows in order to do so.
Cat going logos, throwing down a Dexter and a Bat Drone, as well as a Archivist.
Yep, that's a Ganymede Archivist, Reap Archive 1. So a powerful lineup coming right out with the Bat Drone and the Archivist. And she'll choose to fight, knowing that Mac is elusive, but she will draw. Gambling there that she may find a Logos card, which she did not. So foregoing an Amber on the chance, the 1 in 3 chance, that she might be able to play an additional card that turn.
She is definitely got a really strong start to the game. 4 Logos creatures on the board, 3 of which are always great to see. Quixo, Bat Drone, and Archivist. Quixo going down fast to Mac the Knife. Andy's saying, you know what, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here. We're just going to bounce my Mac and your other 2 creatures, and really trying to take control of this game early. Hopefully it'll pay off for him.
Yeah, and we'll see if he has the untamed creatures that he needs to follow up that Lost in the Woods, to see if he can take a little bit of control on the board here. We've seen him really struggle throughout this event to develop any sort of board presence. He's been playing against some decks with some large creatures, Brabnar creatures, Sanctum creatures, even some larger disc creatures that have really challenged him to stay on the board. And we're not seeing a ton of those in Cat's deck. wood logos, she has some small creatures, and even in her disc, she has some of their smaller creatures as well. She does have Brabnar in her set and a few big ones there, but notably only 4 Brabnar creatures in her Brabnar set. So she may be another deck that will struggle to take advantage of a vulnerable board state.
Cat playing Control the Weak. I don't believe I heard what she called. But
And
again,
Rising,
Control the Weak this early in the game is always such a gamble. Not one that I personally am willing to take. Although with all of those small squishy creatures, I think Andy is going to find that those long-fused mines are going to be able to do a lot of solid work for him. That Screaming Cave coming down, that was a little hit or miss last game. I think it did do a fair amount of work for him just to allow him to get back in the game. But the question is, was it too little too late?
yeah, and anytime you're shuffling your discard into your deck, you're giving yourself the opportunity to find some of those powerful cards that you've already played, but you're also making it less likely that you'll get the ones that are deeper in your deck. And hard to know, would he have been able to find that too much to protect that he was desperately seeking if he hadn't reshuffled his pile so many times?
Absolutely right there. Cat throwing down a Bumpsy and a Troll. Bumpsy, always a very fun card to see come out. The playability to force your opponent to lose 1 Ember is one that I love to see paired up with War Drummer. That along with Smash, I think those are probably 2 of the stronger commons that Brobnar has access to right now.
Absolutely.
Whether or not they stick around for set 2, we have yet to see. We can only speculate.
Yeah, we certainly know that a lot of those common and uncommon cards will not make it through to the next set. And I think a lot of us have developed some strong feelings to some of those cards, and it'll be tough to see them go.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. I know that in a lot of my decks, I very rarely rely on the rare cards. I do a lot of my heavy lifting with the cards that I'm going to see most often. You know, those are the cards that you get the most comfortable with. You learn their ins and outs, and you learn, you know, how to manipulate them in such a way that will allow you to get the most efficiency out of them. Cat going Logos playing an Effervescent Principle, taking Andy off of his key that he was so sneakily on. Either that or we were asleep at the wheel. One of the two.
Yeah, and we have seen Cat no hesitation to pull the trigger to gain chains, playing that Arise for only 2 earlier to get back a Quixo and a Dexter, or a Ganymede Archivist, and also to play the Effervescent Principle right away as soon as Andy got to 3 to take him off of that first key.
Yeah.
And at the same time, not slowing her down any. She's been able to stay on the board in a big way, despite chaining herself up several times already in this game.
Yeah, she's really showing us what how chains can sometimes hurt you, and sometimes you just look at them and you say, what else you got? I have ways to draw cards outside of these chains, outside of my draw step.
Yeah, Arise certainly an interesting card in that way, in that it will chain you while also filling your hand.
Twin Bolt going down, getting rid of Naughty the Thief. And 2 going on to Mac the Knife. 2 great targets for that.
Yeah. And we see Andy with a fistful of Untamed here, getting ready to blow up all over again.
Well, hopefully for a few monkeys more, he'll be able to really capitalize on it.
Yeah. Using all of her Logos creatures to fight, drawing 2 cards with both of those Quixos, taking out
Absolutely.
the Mac, the Knife,
The good, the
and
bad,
that
the
Bat
ugly,
Drone
and the
coming
all.
right back down. And a great preemptive answer to those explosive Untamed turns is to put on some recursive steel on the board, like a Bat Drone. Say, yeah, you want to gain 4 amber, that's fine. Because I'll be coming back with this Bat Drone, I'll be able to take out your Witch of the Eye, take 1 of your amber, and draw some more cards using all these Quixos.
Yeah, absolutely. Passing the turn to Andy. Andy trying to figure out how to make this work. I do see a regrowth in hand, but does he have what he needs in his discard pile to really move forward with this plan?
Yeah, and looking at his hand and seeing only Untamed, knowing he has to play these cards, seeing the cat is not threatening to forge a key, this is the opportunity that he needs to move these cards.
Very interesting choice to bring back Noddy and not Mac the Knife. I think that might have been a missed play on his part.
Mm,
Mac the Knife
yeah,
allowing himself to be used out of any house. I mean, that just allows Mac to either reap or deal damage.
and here in Brabner, with a War Song, an Anger, and a Crump, she'll ready and use that Crump, taking out the Hunting Witch, and taking Andy off of check in one quick shot. And meanwhile, gaining 1 from her own War Song. That pile of skulls will start doing work, and she begins capturing on her smaller Logos creatures.
Pile of Skulls, always a fun card to see. Never fun to play against, but always fun to see.
And using the troll to reap rather than to fight, despite War Song being active, having an opportunity to take out that Charette maybe.
That was a very interesting choice. I wonder if she was not able to get onto a key. So I wonder if she's setting herself up for something a little bit bigger down the line.
I think that's absolutely right. And Andy, once again, behind on board, as he has been.
But we have also seen him play from this position in such a way that he is able to absolutely capitalize on it and lull his opponent into a false sense of security with them saying, "Hey, I have the board, I have the game." Him saying, "You know what? You may have the board, but you do not have this game right now." Even with his game with Grant, there were a large number of times where where Grant was very clearly in control of the board, double, even triple Andy's creatures at times, and Andy still able to tell him, "No, I'm not going to let you do this. You need to deal with me."
Yeah, and to deny that key several times, 4, maybe even 5 times before finally running out of answers. Of course, he did ultimately run out of answers after losing the board, and we saw him against Jack as well, losing the board. And even though he won that game, I think that was attributable to a misplay by his opponent.
Mm-hmm.
One that Andy gave him the opportunity to make that misplay, and sometimes that's what you do. You just keep giving your opponents opportunities to make mistakes until they make one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with Brabner, once again, she'll use Crump and Troll, and this time she will use the Troll to fight taking that amber back, and I think showing that it was in fact a misplay on her previous turn, opting to re-put that troll, thinking that she could use it to heal a different creature, thinking that she could use it to heal Crump, and not the troll itself.
Once again, Andy from behind. His 4-embered cat 6. Not a lot of creatures on the board. We'll see how he is able to deal with this.
Yeah, looking at what looks like another Lost in the Woods, Briar Grubbling, but not anything that looks like it will stop his opponent from forging. So choosing Untamed, taking advantage of that monkey to take out that Quixo once again, getting his amber back, saying, I can't stop you from forging, but I can threaten to forge myself. And down comes that Grubbling. Cat looking at that one, another rare card, one that we don't see very often.
Yeah, typically when I see a Briar Grubbling, the first thing I'll do is I will look at the upgrades that are in that deck, and if there's anything that I can capitalize on that. If I have the Grubbling in a house with shadows, first thing I'm going to look for is a Dusk Runner or a Silent Dagger. Just to be able to say, yeah, you know what, he's weak, but he is Hazardous 5. And now he has the ability to just absolutely wreck your day.
Yeah. So very vulnerable to targeted removal. And as we look at Cat's deck, we see that she got a couple of punches, she got a couple of fears, a Hand of Dis, and a Twin Bolt Emission. So no shortage of ways to remove that particular rare creature. And Andy's saying you need to kill something else in order to kill that Briar Grubbling. Not quite true, is it? As she can simply do as much of the card as possible, playing it the first time to kill only one creature.
Absolutely.
So maybe some confusion about how that Bouncing Death Core works, as this would be a fine time to play it. But the Earthshaker will come down and destroy that small creature. And that Pile of Skulls also being misused here, as we see that they will capture. Pile of Skulls, I believe, allowing her to capture only when a creature is destroyed in a fight.
That is...
Oh, during your turn. I'm wrong. Enemy creature is destroyed during your turn. It is Cat's turn. That Earthshaker will, in fact, capture.
Yeah, Earthshaker with Pile of Skulls is a great synergy. And it's one that I don't typically see. Simply because I usually don't see Earthshaker with Pile of Skulls.
Yeah, Pile of Skulls, of course, a rare card, and Earthshaker, uncommon. So two cards that we don't see a ton of, and unlikely to end up in the same deck together as a result.
Andy calling, Andy playing Control the Weak, and calling Brobnar, knowing that Cat only has the Earthshaker, throwing that down to get rid of the Terror, capturing one more. Let's see what else Cat can do there. I think she just passed the turn.
And Andy, finally, finding a connection with that Control the Weak.
Yes, very unfortunate that in his last game, he controlled the weak right into Dis after he had forged a key, allowing his opponent to use Keyhammer on him.
Yeah.
Undoing all of the work that he had just did.
Yeah, in the game before that, calling Control the Weak into Logos when his opponent was able to play Library Access along with 5 other cards.
On sacrificing to get rid of Bad Penny. Tagging his own Charette. But that's not that big a deal right now. Charette has, looks like no Ember.
Yeah, the Charette has captured nothing. And able to remove that quick so with the subtle maul.
Mm-hmm.
And in removing that Earthshaker to move back to check.
Subtle Maul is a great card. It essentially chains your opponent whenever you go shadows.
Yeah, better even than chains. It takes the cards out of their hand and moves them straight into the discard pile.
Mm-hmm. Succubus and Dust Imp coming down.
Hand of Dis.
Trying to target Naughty, not finding it's going to stick.
And now having to choose, will I keep this Hand of Dis?
I think at that point I would just discard it.
I think I would play it. I'd put that Bad Penny right back in his hand. So if you want to use her, you're going to have to play Shadows. If you want to get rid of her, you're going to have to play Shadows.
Very, very clever play. Hand of Dissing her own Dust Imp, gaining 2 Ember off of that. That is something we very rarely see.
Yeah, and again, taking Andy off of check, generating 2 for herself, and with that Succubus on the board, that's going to be a tough one for him to remove with those little creatures.
Mm-hmm. We see Andy's own Hand of Dis. And it looks like Cat has set Succubus up to potentially play around it. But we do see
with
the
2
Asp
Amber, he's got the Asp, and I believe he's got that Ghostly Hand as well. Naughty well positioned to take the first to allow too much to protect. Not the Ghostly Hand.
Reaping with Bad Penny for 1, Naughty to action to steal 1, putting him back at 8. Once again, showing us just how efficient this deck can be.
And he takes that Bouncing Death Quark.
I think I saw a Time Traveler. And help from
Indeed.
Future Self.
Both of them. And not cards you'd like to have at the same time.
No.
As that help from Future Self will not pull the Time Traveler back from the board, nor from your hand, only from the deck or the card pile will it work.
I think this is a perfect opportunity for Cat to set up a trap. Throwing down that Time Traveler, saying, hey, here it is. Nice, tasty target for you. Pulling 2 cards. Andy probably going to take that Asp and just run it right into the Time Traveler, with Cat being able to turn around and say, you know what, I'm not done with him yet.
Yeah, and coming down right alongside that Batron, presenting a threat right away. But Andy, moving on to his second key already. We wonder how much concern will he pay to this Time Traveler? Will he play to this deck strengths, digging for Amber, reaching for 6, trying to get that third key out before Cat can get her second?
I do see that Andy has one of his favorite cards in hand, Nocturnal Maneuvers, so I think when he goes untamed, Cat is going to find very rapidly that her battle line is unusable.
Yep.
Going to get
And playing
Rumbling.
3 creatures. And Andy, for the first time, able to take a commanding position on the board.
Nocturnal Maneuvers. 2 very good calls. And the Succubus.
And leaving only that Charette up, a Charette that is unlikely to fight as it is holding 3 of Andy's Amber. And she can't allow it to die, or else she'll risk giving away the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Does she have a way to take advantage of that pile of skulls?
I don't know if she can take advantage of the pile of skulls, but we do see a Lash of Broken Dreams going down, plus the Poltergeist in hand. I would not be surprised if this is the end of that subtle maul. There it goes.
And she will force a discard out of Andy.
I do believe that is the first time this entire tournament that we've seen any sort of tournament or artifact hate. We do see the Arise potentially coming down. Maybe. A little bit of confusion on Kat's part on whether or not the her own discard pile is public knowledge. Thankfully, it is.
Yeah. She calls Brobnar for Arise. And she'll find that Earthshaker, which has the potential to do quite a bit of damage.
Earthshaker, of course, going to take out Bad Penny, Naughty, the Asp, and Briar Grubling.
As well as the Time Traveler and the Bat Drone.
Yep.
But we will see her able to capture quite a bit of Amber when that hits the board.
And I do believe that Succubus is going to take a hike as well.
Yep.
That is definitely a position that I do not think that I would want to be in if I were her. Yes, she's going to be able to get the Time Traveler back, but she's getting more utility out of the Bat Drone and the Succubus right now. The Time Traveler has already done his thing. He was played, he got her an Amber, and he drew 2 cards.
Yep.
Andy now saying, you know what? I think I want this game to be done.
Yep. Going to 7 Amber. Taking away some of her larger creatures. And at 7 Amber, that Earthshaker.
Cat trying to
She's reading.
Her pile of skulls captures on Andy's turn. Unfortunately, it does not.
No? And it sounds like a misunderstanding about how that pile of skulls works as well.
Yeah.
Wow. And Cat with the Loot the Bodies Earthshaker combo. Able to capture quite a bit of Andy's Amber while also generating.
Three or lower.
And she will clear out the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh, although that Niffle Queen protecting the Niffle-8.
Yep.
I'll take back the one from the Bat Drone. No harm, no foul on that mistake. Bumpsy will take one from Andy. And we'll see, it appears that Cat neglected to gain 4 from her Loot the Bodies. And with the Crump and the Troll coming down, she's moved right back into control of this board state.
Absolutely. And she is threatening that second key extraordinarily hard.
There goes all my hard-earned work.
Sorry. Yeah.
Andy lamenting the fact that he is once again playing from behind. However, we do see... Oh, nope. That's a Nerve Blast. I thought for a moment he had too much to protect.
No, we saw him play that for no value, only for the raw Amber, a few turns ago. And we've not seen him trigger that Screaming Cave in this game, so we know that what he's played is still not available to him.
steal one, and I'll do 2 damage to Earthshaker.
Andy starting the long journey on taking down that Earthshaker to get his amber back.
Yeah, an Earthshaker that holds 4 amber.
Penny.
I'll put the bad penny back on the board.
I think this is an instance where I would have absolutely no qualms killing my own bad penny with a Relentless Whispers just to generate the amber and take my opponent off. Well, steal
Absolutely.
more of my opponent's amber.
Relentless Whisper to do 2 more damage to
Andy being a little bit myopic right now as to the opportunity that was in front of him. If he was going to steal, that would have put him on check.
Indeed. Although check against a Crump that is likely to take him off of check, and a pile of skulls that is likely to do so as well.
In addition to
A threat,
Reach of
but not
Broken
a
Dreams.
dangerous one.
Yeah. I think if that were me, I probably would have still threatened the key, if for no other reason, to force them into Brobnar again. Really making them sit on their hand and use the tools that are at their disposal as opposed to allowing them access to more things.
Yeah. Crump taking out the ape. Crump destroying one.
Yeah, very
capturing
interesting
one.
choice to send that Crump into the Niffle-ape.
Yeah, setting it up to be taken out by those long fused mines on the very next turn. And leaving the bad penny on the board.
Well, there it is.
I'm using Crump to destroy one, capture another one, and she'll decide where to capture that. She continues to put them on the creature that has done the killing with Pile of Skulls. Not required, and as she's loaded up Crump with 4 damage and 3 amber, that is ripe to be taken back.
Taking a peek at what Andy has in his hand, I do see another Relentless Whispers.
Be well positioned to take out that Crump. Relentless Whispers to finish the Bumpsy. Gaining 5, but not quite putting him on check.
I'm going to go. Let's go Shadows. Discard that.
And he'll finally get rid of that bad penny.
I'm going to use my long fuse mines to do 3 damage here. 3 damage here.
Taking the Crump out, getting that 3 amber back.
And he's got 3.
Let's take a look.
Then.
Yeah, and following up the long fuse mines with the Relentless Whisper. And choosing to hit the troll.
Very interesting choice. Again, it is going to kill the troll. That's the important part. As long as the Whispers can kill something, I don't really think it matters what it kills. Because on destruction, it allows you to steal an ember.
Yeah, and leaving no creatures on the board, no opportunity for Cat to capture his amber using that pile of skulls. And moving to 5, holding on to that slight edge.
Looks like Andy is starting to figure out how to play around that pile of skulls, simply saying, you know what, if I don't have creatures on the board, you can't take my amber away. And as we've seen before, Andy's deck, perfectly fine to play from behind. And I think this game we're going to see just how far behind in the board state Andy's deck can play from.
We will. He'll have 1, maybe 2 more turns before Cat gets to 6 amber, as she'll play Time Traveler, or Future Help from Future Self, followed by Time Traveler, shuffling her discard back into her deck. She'll move to 4 amber, and will she be able to find 2 more amber to threaten right away? That archivist will come back down, along with a Dexter to capture. And she'll stop her turn there. And now we wonder, will Andy be able to gain the amber he needs without putting creatures on the board that can backfire? We see him holding on to that Hunting Witch.
Hunting Witch, Flaxia.
And Flaxia, he'll
choice.
gain 1.
But he's now
We
just
see
put
that he
down the
has
opportunity for her to capture 2.
Fogify, so you cannot fight next turn. I'm sorry, Fog.
and denying the fighting with Fogbank, saying if you want to kill these, you'll have to find another way to do it.
Nocturnal Maneuvers coming down. Let's see what he chooses to exhaust.
Let's go with Archivist, Time Traveler.
Archivist, Time Traveler, both good calls.
And choosing the Bumpsy.
I do think that was the right play. Forcing her into Dis. Lashing him. Now he has to deal with the fact that he has 2 creatures on the board. However, I do see that he just drew into 2 fears. So he will be able to send that Earthshaker back and get that 4 Ember. I think if Andy plays his cards right, we may be looking at the end of this game relatively quickly. Andy.
And fearing the Hunting Witch.
Very interesting choice by Cat.
And if this on her own, Dustin, once again, she'll move to 6. Will Andy be able to take her off of check while moving into check himself?
Well, we do know that his entire deck is now in his discard pile. We do see the Arise there. I would not be surprised if he goes Dis, fears the Earthshaker, fears the Succubus, and then pulls all of his Dis creatures back to drop those 2 Charrettes, dropping Cat down to 0 Ember.
And that's what he'll need. He'll need at least one of those Charrettes. And with Control the Weak as well, he'll know that he's able to deny her opportunity to fight back to capture with those Charrettes.
Or even to Lash.
And choosing a Rise for Dis, as expected. He'll find those creatures that he needs. 1 Charrette, another Charrette, a Succubus, and a Terror or a Toxin. Now here's an interesting point where we wonder, is it worth it to play all of these? Every creature that hits the board is another one that could potentially be killed to trigger the capture effect off a pile of skulls. And Andy, without hesitation, puts them all on the board.
I don't know about the Succubus or the Toxin, but the 2 Charrettes and the Terror, absolutely. The Succubi to take away all of Cat's Amber, the Terror to give himself 2 more. And those are, all 3 of them are power 4 or 5 creatures, so they are safe from the Earthshaker. Why did Andy do that? I have no clue.
Knowing that he has what he needs, and he can keep Cat from playing Brobnar. He can't call Dis. He can't call Brobnar, and so he must call Logos. Calling Brobnar. With 10 Amber, does Cat have a way, using Brobnar, to destroy enough creatures here to capture enough?
In Brobnar, Andy at check 10, she would have to destroy 5 creatures.
And using Smith right away before killing anything.
A little bit of a misplay there by Kat. She thought she had more creatures than Andy.
Limited to bronze. I'm going to punch Succubus.
Here comes that direct removal that we know she has.
Alright.
Playing a punch to get rid of Succubus, capturing 1. Let's see if she can keep it going.
And neglecting the passive effect off that pile of skulls, forgetting to capture. And now she'll spot it.
You did. You punched
I
Succubus.
did. Okay. Yep. So I'll capture onto.
Interesting choice. Where is she going to put it? Really,
And putting it back onto that Earthshaker.
that Earthshaker, of course, right now is a
Loot the body is coming in late after the punch has already been played.
I don't think I can get out of it.
Cat making some ordering errors in her late game here.
unfortunately, I do believe that is a mistake we have all made at one point or another.
Absolutely. And loot the body is not a complicated one to play. When you know you're going to be fighting, you know that you play the loot the bodies first.
And capture 1.
Cat taking out 1 of the Churettes,
So, yep.
capturing 1, and Andy still at 8.
So that's, I can check.
And Cat moving to check. And if she can find a way to stop Andy from forging, then she will win this game.
Playing a Smith for an Ember.
Smith for 1. And finding that she does not have a way to deny that last key from Andy. And that's the end of this game. Andy's going to finish this event with a record of 3-1. And some mixed results with this deck. Some very strong games, like that first game, and some less convincing wins, like his second and this fourth round win here as well as a very well contested loss in the third round.
Absolutely. I think Andy played relatively well. I think he showed us that you don't have to have control of the board in order to have control of the game at times. And to really show us that don't be afraid to put the onus on your opponent to just flat out say, it's, you know what, I'm going to play my game. If you're going to play with me, you have to play by my rules.
Yeah, doing a great job of following where this deck wanted to lead him, and being rewarded for it. 3-1. It's a strong finish in this event. That's the end of this series. We'll be back with another run through the early April Archon event, where we'll follow a special guest in his first run at Fantasy Flight Games. Hope you'll join us for that one.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. You guys take care. If you like us, subscribe. If you don't like us, tell people you don't like to subscribe to us. And we'll be back sometime in the near future. Thank you very much.